Have you ever been judged before you even had the chance to say your name? Imagine walking into a room full of successful people, extending your hand with a smile, only to have someone look at you with disgust and say, "You're beneath me." Most people would never forget a moment like that. But sometimes, life has a surprising way of teaching the biggest lessons to those who think they already know everything. Today's story is about pride, humility, and the incredible power of kindness. Stay with us until the very end because one unexpected introduction will change everything and remind us all that true greatness is never measured by appearance, wealth, or job titles. Before we begin, welcome to Heartline Stories, where every story touches the heart and reminds us that kindness can change lives. If you enjoy inspiring stories like this one, please subscribe, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us share more meaningful stories with people around the world. The morning sun shined brightly over downtown Chicago as hundreds of professionals gathered for the annual National Business Leadership Summit. CEOs, investors, entrepreneurs, and executives from across America filled the elegant convention center. Everyone wore expensive suits, carried polished briefcases, and spoke confidently about billion-dollar deals. Near the entrance stood a man named Daniel Carter. His suit was clean but clearly several years old. His shoes had been polished carefully the night before by his 8-year-old daughter, Emma, who proudly told him they looked brand new. Daniel smiled every time he remembered her excitement before he left home. Daniel wasn't there to impress anyone. He simply wanted to attend the conference and prepare for his first official meeting with the company's leadership team after months of confidential negotiations. As guests entered the ballroom, Daniel noticed a woman surrounded by assistants and photographers. She was Victoria Reynolds, the celebrated CEO of one of the country's fastest-growing technology companies. Newspapers often described her as brilliant, fearless, and unstoppable. Believing it was polite to introduce himself, Daniel stepped forward with a warm smile. "Good morning," he said kindly. "I'm Daniel Carter. It's nice to meet you." He extended his hand. Victoria glanced at his inexpensive suit, then looked down at his worn leather bag. Without shaking his hand, she folded her arms. "I'm sorry," she said coldly. "I don't shake hands with people beneath me." The hallway became silent. Several people awkwardly looked away. Daniel slowly lowered his hand. The words hurt more than he expected, but anger never appeared on his face. Instead, he smiled gently. "I hope you have a wonderful day," he replied. He quietly walked away. One young intern had witnessed everything. She hurried after Daniel. "Sir, I'm so sorry. That wasn't right." Daniel smiled. "Don't worry," he said. "People often judge what they can see. Kindness means choosing not to judge them back." The intern never forgot those words. Hours later, everyone gathered inside the largest conference hall for the summit's biggest announcement. The chairman of Global Horizon Holdings stepped onto the stage. "Ladies and gentlemen," he began, "today marks the beginning of an exciting new chapter." The audience applauded. "Our company has completed the largest acquisition in our history. Effective immediately, we are introducing the new executive chairman who will oversee every company within our organization." Victoria adjusted her jacket confidently. Rumors had circulated for weeks that she would soon gain enormous influence within the new corporate structure. The chairman smiled. "Please welcome Mr. Daniel Carter." The room froze. Victoria's face turned pale. Daniel calmly walked onto the stage. The same man whose handshake had been rejected only hours earlier was now standing behind the podium as the highest-ranking executive in the entire organization. The chairman continued. Mr. Carter founded several successful companies before quietly dedicating much of his life to charitable work after losing his wife. His leadership, integrity, and compassion are exactly what our future requires. The audience erupted into applause. Victoria couldn't believe what she was hearing. Daniel looked across the room and briefly met her eyes. There was no anger. No revenge. Only calm understanding. After the presentation, executives lined up to congratulate Daniel. Finally, Victoria slowly approached him. Her confident voice had disappeared. "Mr. Carter. I'd like to apologize." Daniel smiled warmly. "There is no need to call me Mr., he said. Daniel is just fine." Victoria looked down. "I judged you based on your appearance. I embarrassed myself." Daniel nodded gently. "We all make mistakes." She hesitated. "I don't deserve your forgiveness." Daniel quietly replied, "Forgiveness isn't earned. It's given." His answer surprised everyone standing nearby. Later that afternoon, Daniel requested a private meeting with Victoria. She expected criticism or perhaps even dismissal. Instead, Daniel invited her to sit. "I've read your business record," he said. "You're incredibly talented." Victoria looked confused. "But leadership isn't only about intelligence." Daniel continued. "The people who work for us aren't numbers. They're mothers, fathers, sons, daughters, and dreamers. Every single person deserves respect." Victoria remained silent. Daniel reached into his wallet and removed a small photograph. It showed his daughter smiling while holding a pair of shiny shoes. "My little girl polished my shoes before this conference," he said proudly. "She believed they made me look important." His voice softened. "To her, I'm simply Dad." Victoria's eyes filled with tears. She suddenly realized that the man she had insulted wasn't just another businessman. He was a father working hard to build a better future for his child. Daniel continued. "My wife passed away 6 years ago. Since then, Emma has become my greatest reason to lead with kindness. Success means very little if we forget how to treat people." For the first time in years, Victoria felt ashamed not because she had made a business mistake, but because she had forgotten something far more important. Over the following months, employees noticed remarkable changes. Victoria greeted receptionists every morning. She learned the names of janitors and security guards. She regularly joined employees for lunch instead of eating alone in the executive dining room. She even started mentoring young interns, encouraging them to believe in themselves regardless of where they came from. The company culture slowly transformed. People smiled more. Teams worked better together. Employees felt respected instead of invisible. One afternoon, the young intern who had comforted Daniel months earlier visited his office. "I've always wondered," she asked. "Why didn't you embarrass Victoria when you had the chance?" Daniel looked out the window before answering. "Because humiliation changes behavior for a moment." He smiled gently. "But kindness can change a heart forever." Years later, Victoria often shared that lesson during leadership conferences across America. She would begin every speech with the same sentence. "The most important handshake I ever refused became the greatest lesson of my life." The audience always grew quiet. And somewhere in the front row, Daniel and Emma would smile proudly. Because true greatness isn't found in expensive clothes, impressive titles, or powerful offices. It's found in the way we treat people when we think they have nothing to offer us. Every stranger carries a story we cannot see. Every act of kindness plants a seed that may one day change someone's life forever. So the next time you meet someone, choose respect before judgment, compassion before pride, and kindness before anything else. You never know whose hand you're shaking or how that simple act could change both your lives. Thank you for spending this time with Heartline Stories. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs this reminder today. Until next time, remember, kindness costs nothing, but it can mean everything.